Okay, hey, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today I have a really fun update for you from Strapsco. They're pretty much known for having a massive collection of watch bands and accessories. In terms of this particular model that we'll be highlighting today, it's the DASSARI vented FKM rubber strap. And it's made out of high quality FKM rubber that is incredibly soft, durable, and dust resistant. The vented design of the strap allows your wrist to breathe while also giving it a very distinct look, making it ideal for sports, workouts, and everyday wear. It also includes quick release spring bars to make updating your watch very easy without needing any additional tools. Now, big thank you to Strapsco for sending these in. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of these types of straps floating around on your Instagram feed as of late, and there's a bunch of different brands that are putting them out, but I have pretty good trust of Strapsco that they do tend to bring the higher quality at the lower prices. So I thought, hey, why not reach out to them and see if I could take a closer look. So big thank you to them for sending these in. These are these actually go for less than 35 bucks, $34.99, so right about $35. And today I figured, why not use this fun little C Quartz, which is an actual reissue of the original Magnum PI watch from the good old first 3 seasons of that show. So with all that said, let's go ahead, zoom the camera out, bust these out of their cases here, because we got the whole range of colors, which should be a lot of fun. And let's just go ahead and take a closer look. Okay, guys, so as you can see, the full gambit here, I believe there's 9 different colorways, and there's a lot here. So let's just start with what, come on, you guys were eyeing it since the beginning of the video, the orange. Let's start with the orange, right? The orange accents, orange on a diver. It just feels like it makes sense. And the nice thing is, since this is not a watch review, I can just go ahead and plant these on in front of the camera so you guys can see just how easy that is. So very nice, easy to set in there, quick release, and very cool aesthetic, I will say. The venting is very nice. It's open and has a lot of dimension and depth without it actually being super open to where you're worried about getting a weird tan line on your wrist or anything like that. Actually very reminiscent of the Richard Mille integrated straps that are really well known. But I will say, this is where, Strapsco really impresses me, because you look at these details, and a lot of the times when you see stuff that all looks the same, that's exactly what it is. They look the same, but there's different levels of finishing when it comes to the options, like the hardware or just the level of finish and on these straps, to where sometimes they can feel a little rushed or kind of made by the ton. But look at this, very nice contour, as you guys can see here, where it actually has a slight curvature. It's a little bit thicker up here, then it tapers down. So it starts at about 4 millimeters and tapers down to the thinnest point, about 2.5 millimeters. You're getting 77 millimeters on one end and then 126 millimeters on the other. So this will be great for diving. If you do have to put it over a wetsuit or something like that, you have plenty of length, plenty of adjustment as well, which is very nice. And then for somebody like me with a slightly larger wrist, it definitely works as well. So let's go ahead and get that on. And then another nice thing is, of course, since this is FKM rubber, one of the benefits are that it is really nice when it comes to resisting a lot of dust. So it just should dust right off there. You guys can see. Very cool. I dig this. Check that out. That's a really cool look. It definitely suits that 70s kind of aesthetic of the watch. And even if I put my wrist down low here, tighten things up so you don't get a lot of lens distortion of when I put my wrist too close to the camera, you can see really nicely centered, and you can still see some really nice details there. And again, the ventilation is totally functional, but it's not overly large. Like, let's say if you were going to compare it to like an isoframe style, where you're going to have those really big openings. Here, the nice thing is you're still getting the visual kind of depth of having the venting, but the actual open space is a lot more manageable, which I think is very, very cool. So I dig that a lot. Very, very, very nice. But we got tons of colors to kind of go through here. You know, of course, there's the basic black, but let's actually go to yellow next because I think that this is kind of a fun color. You guys might see this on future watches that I'll review because I feel like yellow is definitely kind of making a comeback here, guys. If I can get it out. Boom. Okay. So check that out. The yellow is very nice, and I wanted to choose a lighter color just so you guys could get a better look and a better idea of how these actually look in terms of their details. So top side, I think it's very self-explanatory, but some things, again, you might not notice are the way that it tapers, the thickness here. And one of the benefits of having it thicker up here and then having this little kink kind of built in is that it essentially is going to mold to your wrist really well. And it is nice to have a little bit more structure higher up, closer to the lugs, just to keep the watch planted on your wrist. So I really do like that. I like how robust the buckle is, fully milled, contoured, 3D, you know, very, very nice, unsigned. And, you know, I will say that the underneath here is probably where they saved a little bit of money, where, you know, it's more of a kind of matte finish versus the nice brushing that's on top. So very cool. And then if you look underneath, you know, the nice thing is, it again, you see that it's 20 millimeter. That's very clean, nicely executed, very sharp in terms of all the crisp edges and everything. Even you can really tell the 3D nature of the holes, so that they, of course, do fit through the buckle really, really clean. So they really, you know, as you can see here, there's a little bit of angle that's going to be coming into contact with the strap, and the strap is actually made to contour towards those angles. So that's something I really do appreciate. And I do like also that you do have, of course, the cutouts here, so this is not going to be laying completely on your wrist. Again, there's going to be air kind of flow, especially when you are getting wet. You're going to want it to be able to drip dry and everything like that as well. But it's nice, it's very breathable. Let's say if you are doing some type of activities, whether you're in the water or not, once you start sweating, you're still going to want nice ventilation regardless. So I think that's very, very cool. I think the yellow, what do you guys think? The yellow actually, because of the loom, could be fun. So let's go ahead and swap in the yellow. And some of you are going to be like, hey, just do every single strap. Come on, guys. Every single strap? This video is already way too long for what it is. So I don't know if I'm going to get in every strap, but I will, you know, of course, make an attempt to at least put together some good pairings for you guys to see what they look like. Ooh, that yellow, again, that looks really cool. And I would have not thought that from the get-go, but I will say this yellow does look really cool. Very distinct, very clean. And you can see me and my 7.5-inch wrist. Very nice. So it's like on the third hole there. So if you have a smaller wrist, you got plenty of ways to work. And if you have a slightly larger wrist, you know, you still do have room as well. So, and I do like to wear my watches a little bit higher on the wrist. Very, very cool. Obviously, I don't think the blue will work. It's a little bit too close, but being too far. But I will say this blue strap, I know, is going to find its way onto something in my collection because this dark blue is very versatile. And of course, I do really enjoy this colorway. And now, of course, now that I can see the details of the strap, I do also really like the aesthetic in terms of that. The gray, very, very nice. Check that. Actually, let's get this one out, because I know gray, here's one of the things people always like to test, gray versus black. So here it is for you guys. Gray versus black, how different are they? If you, let's say you have something that has a little fade to it or something like that, you can see. Actually, I think the gray would look really cool, right? You figure if steel matches with everything, the gray would look nice. The black, of course, my goodness, that is a very clean look. I might have to try that one out. But I do like this gray. This is really nice. Not too dark, not too light. It's just a really nice tone there. And I think this will go with a lot of different options as well. I mean, as you guys kind of noticed, we'll give it a couple of quick, some dust. Oh, that one's a little stuck with some fingerprint action. Okay, so that's off. But let's actually, the gray is cool. The gray is cool. I don't know if it's for this watch, but I will say the yellow and the gray kind of giving me synchron vibes already, give me some ideas for future pairings of watches I don't even have yet. So I think the black would probably be great. The red, this is definitely very Richard Mille. You know, very nice. Of course, Mr. Wonderful also loves a good red strap. I mean, if you have a watch that's black diver with maybe like a red line of text, this is it. Like, this is a really, really fun pairing. Dark green, you know how much green has really come back into fashion. And I like this darker green. It's kind of like a hunter green here, not like a military olive, but more so like a forest green, which I think is very, very nice. So probably will work for some outdoor occasions as well. But while I have this here, let's go ahead and take this off. And again, guys, real time, I'm just popping these off, putting them on to the next thing. I will say this black might be the sleeper hit. As much as I'm excited, oh, good thing I don't have this too high up because it wasn't actually secured. Okay, now it's secured. I will say, as excited as I was about the orange, because it really plays and pops, and pleasantly surprised with the yellow, the way it kind of plays off of the loom there, which has this kind of more patina to vintage. I didn't say patina, but just more of a vintage-esque look to it. Look at that. Nice and understated, but still very, very stylish. This one's black, so it's showing a little bit of the dust a little bit more, but you guys can see it should come off relatively easy, and that's not even rinsing it. So let's go ahead and get it on the wrist. Very cool. All right, check that out. I dig this look too. I like the way the matte black ties into the matte black of the dial. Very, very nice. And again, you are getting the venting, which is, of course, very useful. Yeah, ooh, that looks really cool on the black. And then you even get kind of, you know, really wild out there colors like this pale blue. This would be great on something with maybe a white dial and some pale blue accents. Or if you have something that is matchy level to where you have the exact match of dial, I think something like this would look really great. Ooh, it also lets you know kind of what colors go good together. Look at that kind of Gulf livery, you know, 4GT colors there with the pale blue and the very vibrant orange. So guys, I did want to share these with you because I know you guys have seen a bunch of these. Again, they pop up on your feed. You're not really sure what to think, but I will say that these are of very nice quality. And then I'll just go ahead and put these away while we marinate on these ideas and these thoughts. So one of the things I really like, of course, is the ventilation system, right? I really do like that. Again, I like that they're open without being too open, right? So you do get the depth in terms of the aesthetic. They look very nice, very action and sports oriented. We'll leave these out to kind of showcase some of these finer details. Oh, did I also mention that just because these buckles are all in brushed, there's actually a bunch of different options you can get them in. You can get these in width-wise in 20 or 22 millimeter lugs, right? These are all in 20, just because the majority of my watches are 20 millimeters. I do have some 22 millimeter ones, so maybe you'll see that down the line in the future. These do have a mild taper to them, if you're wondering. So they're going to go 20 essentially down to 18 millimeters, or 22 down to 20 millimeters. Everything else in terms of those measurements and specs are the same in between the two lug sizes. So in terms of the tapering, thickness and whatnot, and the lengths, those are going to be the same. But in terms of the buckles themselves, you see it in brushed. You can also get it in polished. You can get it black coated. You can get it yellow yellow gold, rose gold, or then a two-tone silver and yellow gold. So I think that is very, very cool. They also do buy two get one free offers, so definitely take advantage of that. I think the price is already quite competitive. The shipping is pretty quick for me here in the US, so definitely very cool. And then in terms of the general aesthetic, yes, it does have that kind of Richard Mille ventilation look to it, but I'd say the average person, even most watch goers, don't necessarily identify this type of strap venting with Richard Mille. They might just see this as something that looks different enough to something like like an ISO frame, right? A classic ISO frame strap, to where it's just gonna mix things up a little bit. That actually reminds me, I can do a quick little comparison here, right? So the blue, like let's say I have this Great Citizen watch. It's not running right now because this wasn't planned. This is off the cuff, guys. But you see the ISO frame. This is a genuine ISO frame. It's quite thick. It is a very thick and serious, like this is a dive strap. This isn't really a strap that you probably want to wear, as much recreationally. But then you have something like this. Look at that color. It's very, very close in the color, so it's going to match in the same ways, except it's going to be a lot thinner, a lot more pliable. And when I say thinner, it's not in a flimsy way. It's more, think of it as in a way of comfort. So definitely a lot more pliable versus this. You see that, like, it's a little stiffer. It's a lot of it because it's how thick it is. Also, with how thick it is, when you're getting it in and out of these keepers here, it's really, it's solid, and which is nice when you have it on. And of course, if you're depending on your dive watch, right, you want it to be nice and stiff on. But if you want to just wear it more recreationally, just for fun, on a nice spring or summer day, then something like this could actually be really, really cool. And again, visually, you see this and you don't think, oh, it's a ISO frame or a fake ISO frame. You see this style, you think it's either a real ISO frame or it's a fake one, right? The cool thing here is that this aesthetic, although it's not 100% original, it comes from Richard Mille strap, but those straps are all integrated, right? So seeing the straight end lug already changes, I think, the aesthetic enough to where it just feels a little bit more original, less derivative, and it looks different in a way that is good. Some things look different because nobody likes that style, right? It's like, oh yeah, there's a reason why we did it the other way and did certain things a certain way, because they're classic, right? In this case, it's different, but it's not in a bad way. So I do like that. I think this on the black, a little bit of a sleeper surprise. I do like it on the black, but you know what, guys? The orange, it does it for me. The orange is what makes this, stand out and pop. I have plenty of black dial divers watches, but how many do I have on gorgeous orange straps that just feel so fun? So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What was your favorite combination? What dive watch would you pair these to? I will say that, maybe something earlier, like Big Crown style, these might be a little bit too modern for. So for me, I'm thinking late 60s, 70s, and 80s style divers, I think, really are going to look wonderful on these. And then, some more modern and completely contemporary watches, right? I think these would probably look really nice on, the latest Christopher Ward Tridents or something like that, because you do have something that is very modern and up to date. Same thing for brands like Helios, Boulder. And the one thing would be trying to match the buckle, because a lot of boulders will be bead blasted. So yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.